strong late game from people like Whisper, people like Daddy, people like other members of the teams when they've been subbed in and out. But right now you've got Mena down there, who's arguably your best player. We've got a couple of picks on the board though. Xayah being prioritized over on the side of Glorious Gaming, and it does very much look like Awaken will get his signature. Ooh. That's an Aatrox.
I am very, very happy to be seeing this Awaken, a player that hasn't been here for a while. Now he's returning, and he's going to be locking himself that Aatrox. He's a player that is very aggressive in the early laning phase, and he is one of the most important members of Royal Reapers for the same reason of Omena, because he can find those leads. He can snowball very effectively, and it was he was the reason why Royal Reapers were able to find so much success thus far, especially last split, where there wasn't really that much competition on a mechanical level to actually be challenging these players. It's a bit more difficult this split though, and so they have been running into some issues. However, as you said, they're still very high in the standings, and hopefully they can try and propel themselves even further with this aggression, especially if you're going to be locking yourself some engage in the form of Morgana for the mid-game skirmishes.
Very, very strong pick there on the Morgana. You imagine this will be going down with Francesco in support, but Yuumi has been left open and taken away, so we're not going to see the lovers in the bot lane, you'd imagine, with Xayah and Yuumi down there. But I've been watching this champion for a couple of weeks now, this cat, and it's just so disgusting.
Yeah, I mean, you get poke, you get some kind of engage, you get a lot of burst if you pair it up with someone who can offer that damage, which definitely Xayah is. So it can turn into a very disgusting bot lane. But one pick that we haven't really focused on was the mid lane one, and I want to hover in on this Zoe for Hank Hankerson, because that is his most played champ, and if the viewers can recall, a couple of weeks back, he has managed to pull off some amazingly sick outplays on this one. It's a champion that he is very, very comfortable on, and for Glorious Gaming, that is going to be something that they're going to need. This comfort in the mid lane, some lane that they can find leads through and try and again snowball themselves to victory, because that's going to be the main point for both of these teams.
Hank is he's just so disgusting on Zoe. I remember casting it a few weeks ago, and it was just kind of like, oh, cool, there's no health bars anymore. This is fine. I didn't want to have an interactive game anyway. This is great. But it's always very exciting to see him on this champion. He's going to be disking out so much damage in the late game. His laning isn't always the most convincing on Zoe from previous experience, but when he gets into those late games, he can absolutely annihilate people. We're on to the second ban phase now with Hecarim and J4 being taken away, pinching that jungle role. But interestingly, we've got ball in from Amena and Francesco for Royal Reapers. Caitlyn Morgana, that's a very traditional, quite safe lane.
Yeah, and you do not necessarily need too many mechanics on this Caitlyn, so it isn't going to be mattering too much that Omena is off-rolling here, especially if you can play that champion. You know, he can just kind of poke the living hell out of anyone. There's no real opposition that you're going to be facing, especially when playing into someone like Xayah, who you can reliably poke and push under her turret. I really like the bans, however, coming from Royal Reapers, really just once again targeting the comfort. So even though they did leave that Zoe open, they're still pinching Samus away from his most famous picks. That Hecarim comes to mind. He's had amazing success on it thus far. The same can be said for the Vi. And so right now, it's looking like the jungler is going to be having some troubles with his champion pool. Going to have to wait and see for the second pick phase.
Yeah, of course, that is 4 jungler picks being taken away from both these teams in the second ban phase, including the Sejuani as well. Onto that, that's 5 champions, and with Imbi being in an off-roll right now, I don't know what he's really going to go for, because a lot of the strongest junglers are off the table. You do have stuff like the Nunu, which some people do really enjoy, but the Rek'Sai has been left open, and that's going to be locked in instantly. That's kind of tunneled through the ban phase a little bit.
I hate you, but I love this pick, especially because you would be expecting someone who is first-timing for a position in a team to be going for something safe, something perhaps like a Zac or a Sejuani, which has been banned, of course, but he decides to go for an early-game jungler. He is going to be the very important member on the side of Royal Reapers when it comes to finding some early-game leads. However, it's not like he's going to be having too easy of a time, because as long as Samus is on the same map as this Rek'Sai, he's going to be able to counter her with this Rammus, a single taunt, and once you manage to lock this Rek'Sai down, she's effectively dead. Now, this is also going to depend heavily on what the top lane pick is going to be. Something like an Aurelia is in a really good state for you to lock yourself right now, and Perun is the player that can make those plays happen, but it's scaling. And I'm a bit unsure about this one, if he's going to be able to hold against Awaken, because we had a conversation about this just before the stream started.
Yeah, it's the Fiora pick has come out a bit out of the blue. A lot of people are batting it away at the moment, so there are clearly high elo players who think this is a strong pick right now. And alongside the Rammus, it could be quite good in that Awaken can be quite mobile, can be dodging, dipping, using that sustain that he has on this Aatrox, and he's very good on this champion. But you're going to have a rough time against the Rammus, because this man will just be so tanky and will not take damage. And Fiora, if you can get a good parry and get the stun off, you can be sustaining and fighting quite well as well. So I'm very, very interested to see how this top lane matchup goes off. As we've been talking about that, Ukali, with the last pick, has opted for the Lissandra. That's another quite exciting pick that we haven't seen too much of recently.
Yeah, and I do believe that Lissandra got touched a tiny bit with getting her base stats improved. I'm unsure if it was this patch or 9.14. Unfortunately, someone else is going to have
in 9.15, her damage on her ultimate due to scaling has increased.
Ah, yes. Very important ultimate damage. Yes. Oh, sorry, cooldown. But Lissandra is a very good pick into Zoe, and I think it's very important that you do manage to get this counter pick in this game in particular, because we have already hyped Hank Hankerson enough. So what do you want to do when you give away comfort? Well, you just want to lock him out of the game. Lissandra is always going to be able to push the Zoe under her turret, even though the amount of mana that she uses to be able to fully clear the wave has been increased drastically. I think about 5 patches ago, so Lissandra has disappeared from the pro play almost entirely, but the point still remains. Zoe is not going to be able to find any leads, and as long as Yukalu manages to get at least maybe sometimes into that mid lane, he's always going to be able to just free push the wave under the enemy's turret, not allowing Hank Hankerson to really do anything in the early game, which is important because there is no other lane that Glorious Gaming have that can do so as effectively.
Yeah, of course, you've got the Zarya and Yuumi, which should be a pretty safe lane, but it's not the most aggressive one, and up at top, Fiora does lose out quite a lot to Aatrox in the early game if both players are playing at a similar level. Samus is the big question mark here, though. Rammus is not a champion we see very much, and is quite decent at ganking early if you do overextend a little. And as soon as he's hit you with that Powerball, or gets a little bit of CC on you, gets that taunt down, you have a really, really rough time. So it's going to be about how can he run these lanes? How can he take advantage of Raw Reapers? Because if he doesn't, you could be going into a mid game where you haven't got very much going for you. You've got a decent late game scaling, and you want to get to that late game, but this Raw Reaper side, if they get ahead, they could just snowball out of control.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Samus is going to be the biggest focal point for the side of Glorious Gaming here, because, as I said, if he doesn't find any leads, the time of scaling is going to be coming way too late for Glorious Gaming to be doing anything, because we know Royal Reapers, they love playing through Snowball, and you're going to have Aatrox popping off on 2 items. The same can be said for Rek'Sai as well as Caitlyn. So the early power spikes are going to be coming very, very early for Royal Reapers, and if Samus doesn't get the perfect, not roams, pathings, if he doesn't manage to find at least a couple of kills in the early game, it's going to be incredibly difficult. But even then, he's not going to be having a good time. It's going to depend on where Imbi is, because if Imbi is on the bot side of the map, the go-ahead should be for Samus to be going top lane, because you can lock this Aatrox down and you can kill him. In the bot lane, that's not going to happen. You have a Morgana shield whom the Yuumi isn't going to be able to pop with her magic damage. In the mid lane, you're trying to gank Lissandra, and well, you can kind of figure the rest out yourself. So gonna be very interesting to see what pathing he decides to take, but from the draft phase alone, this is looking like a very, very tough game for GG.
Yeah, but we do have to remember that this game is on a bit of a clock. If GG don't fall behind it, if they can stay relatively even, or even get a little bit ahead, their late game is disgusting. Hank Hankerson can blow up any one member of Raw Reapers that he chooses. In a skirmish, that can be enough to swing, get a Baron, or in a team fight, if a mana just disappears from the map, then you've got a really nice team fight. Fiora can do the absolute works. Aatrox can kind of do the same though, so that's kind of evened out a little bit. But you just have like the Zarya, Yuumi, and the Rammus. Rammus with a Yuumi on him, Powerball in, get the final chapter off. That champion ain't dying, and that champion is stunning everybody on the enemy team. And I just don't know if there's a solution for that kind of thing in the late game from Raw Reapers.
Yeah, the only thing that Royal Reapers have going for themselves in the late game is that they do have some kind of tankiness from the Lissandra as well as Rek'Sai, but as soon as the game ticks over to the 40th minute, it should be just an easy win for GG, but of course they have to get there, and they're going to be having to get themselves there on the backs of Samus. But we've talked enough about GG, I think. So the win conditions for Royal Reapers are a bit different to Glorious Gaming, because for GG it's please survive, do not die. Those are the win conditions for Glorious Gaming. For Royal Reapers is just kill them all, let them perish. Find some leads. Awaken can 1v1 this for Yura with relative ease as long as you manage to hit at least some sweet spots on her. This Imbi is going to be incredibly important in the early game as well. You can find those leads on this Rek'Sai, and you're going to have enough setup in the mid lane alone against this Zoe who isn't running a cleanse into a Lissandra. So
it's brave.
You know, yeah, it's brave, and the line between a genius and an idiot. Yeah, sorry, a madness is,
it's
thin.
close. I don't know where Hank Henson is using his ultimate over that line, and I'm not sure which side he started on and which side he's going to and where it will be at the end of it. But, I mean, we are looking a little bit at summoners, actually. It's quite interesting to see that Whisper has gone for that teleport in the bot lane because, of course, you have that Yumi who allows you to get the heal somewhere else, with Amena having to go for that heal with the Ignite from Francesco. But Ukali does have teleport when Hank Henson doesn't, so Lissandra could be looking to get a few more plays around the map with that teleport available, or could just be looking to get absolute lane dominance against this Zoe.
Yeah, especially as I said, that Lissandra's, what's it called? Mana costs got increased. She now is a bit more reliant on this TP. You generally just don't run anything else on her, because you can just perma-push the wave if you manage to keep your mana healthy. And so you're going to be seeing Yukalu likely just teleporting back into his lane, but as you said, it does allow him to be going to other lanes, especially post-level 6. If he has his TP up, the amount of engage that the side of Royal Reapers have is disgusting. You have this Rek'Sai as well as Morgana, so you can find a 4-man dive on essentially as soon as you hit level 6 in that bot lane, so it has to be something that GG have to be scared of.
Yeah, and one thing that I think is very interesting, just as we're getting the early game, little bit of poking, tit for tat in all of these lanes with the junglers starting on opposite sides of the map, is the top lane keystones is something that's very interesting to me. Awaken has gone for that Conqueror on the Aatrox, whereas Fiora has gone for that Grass, meaning that Perrin is going to be really favoured in these quick dart in, get a couple of autos, get out situations where he'll be able to sustain very, very well. Whereas Awaken, if fights go a little bit longer, he's going to be getting the true damage in the sustain. He's going to be massively favoured in that position. So kind of keep an eye out for that and see how this top lane, if we see Perrin getting these quick in and outs, or if we see Awaken getting these long extended fights.
Yeah, you'll often see Fiora just dashing in, trying to hit the Vial, and then just trying to run away, sadly. Or, you know, just try and auto-attack Awaken and Q to safety. That can be something that we look at as, well, he just gets a free pop-off there. Doesn't matter. But if we see these prolonged trades, as you said, it favors Awaken heavily. And we had a little bit of a discussion before the game started. For whom it is actually favored to be going on which side of the map when it comes to top lane pressure when you count in the junglers. And we agreed that it is going to be much easier for you to sustain yourself on the red side, simply because you have that tri-burst, you can keep yourself warded almost all the time, and already Perun is just shoving a big wave into Awaken. So right now, Awaken doesn't have to be scared at all, and he can just wait for Imbi to try and get some 2v2 skirmishes, which ideally they should be able to win just because they have that much damage.
Yeah, but Imbi at the moment is on the bot side of the map, so not in position to help out. Samus is up there, but just clearing away. It's not going to be easy. You can't tower dive an Aatrox at level 2 as a Rammus. It just doesn't happen. But we are looking for these two junglers to be the ones making early game impacts, as Francesco is about half health now. Awaken doing the same, so Royal Reaper's getting a little bit worse wear on these very early trades.
Right now, good pressure coming from Glorious Gaming, getting themselves those early leads as fast as they can, because as soon as the ultimates come around, the amount of kill pressure is disgusting in every single lane, as that is a lot of damage coming on Francesco just from that Yumi alone. That was fun champion, this Yumi.
the most fun of all the champions, you could say. I remember when this champion was announced, it was kind of like a, oh, look at the kitty, and then it was played and everyone was like, oh, look at the kitty, as it 100 to 0 you, and gave your marksman like all of the damage and meant that they couldn't die. And it's just a bit silly, honestly, but they're all gonna really love having that champion. We've got the Caitlyn who should be able to stay a little bit safe as Hank Hansen puts a bit of damage onto Ukali, but nothing significant just yet.
Nothing significant just yet, indeed. And once again, there are not going to be likely that there is going to be any advantage found in that mid lane. As I say that, Brune is getting a good trade in top lane.
Has overstepped. He's going to flash away, but the taunt will be landed from Rammus. The first blood is going over to Perrin with a little bit of damage going on to Samus from the tower, but Awaken stepped up a little bit too far, and there was the response.
Yeah, it's a fabulous start for Glorious Gaming into this first game of this evening. Getting themselves that early kill on Fiora means that she is going to be able to try and 1v1 this Aatrox a bit sooner, especially if we see the Samus try and go repeatedly for these ganks in that top lane. That can be a story unlocking itself for Glorious Gaming, as so far they are just getting those CS leads in that top lane is just 2, but it doesn't matter right now because that kill is going to sway things quite a lot.
Yeah, it's going to be really, really nice for Perrin to get first blood. It does now give him a nice advantage onto the Aatrox. More damage coming in on bot lane, onto GG's bot lane. They need to be very, very careful as Amena does have that ranged advantage. But as we're saying, very, very nice play in the top side. And Fiora is now going to feel a little bit safer to step up and do a bit more damage. The Tiamat is such a big pickup this early.
Tiamat, of course, allowing this Fiora to get at least some amount of damage this early on, as well as allowing her to wait better.
It's a nice spell shield, a nice root, but Amena's still going to be forced to flash away. Samus goes low, the Ignite was ticking down them as well. Here, on the sideline, Carlu is here. I don't think he's going to be able to get too much off, though, as the members of Glorious Gaming are safely moving back onto their tower, but very, very well played there from Glorious Gaming. They got a couple of key resources down in the bot lane.
Yeah, already Samus is putting his mark on this game. We said that he had to be the one making these early game plays, and so far, he's fitting that bill exactly. He's found a gank on top lane, which resulted in a kill. Found one on the bot lane, which almost got a kill. Francisco now in that mid lane, poking Hank Eckerson down a tiny bit. Not going to result in too much, though, and so far, Royal Reapers, they're still waiting for their level 6s to be hit, so there is not too much distraught in the lines of RR just yet, but if this kind of complacency keeps on going even after their key ultimates are hit, I'm going to start worrying for this lineup.
Yeah, I'm already a little concerned in that we haven't seen very much from Imbi at all yet in this game, yet to see a successful gank, yet to see anything really used from him or anything burnt by him, so this Rek'Sai needs to get going. You need to get rolling, Imbi, because right now you got Samus, who's already got a kill, or well, an assist on the board, but we might see it here. The flash from Mukali with the ultimate. Imbi's going to get the knock-up as well, and this is the gank they needed. Imbi picking up a kill for himself at the 7-minute mark.
I mean, come on, that's just what you're asking for. If you're playing Zoe without a cleanse, it's very unfortunate that Hank Hankerson didn't have access to that key summoner spell. He could have been able to cleanse away from at least that root or that stun. However, that doesn't happen, and Imbi just swoops in for a very swift kill, getting himself on the board just as you were talking about, he needing to start doing something. And the kill goes over to him as well, so now this Rek'Sai is going to be in a favorable position to just keep the snowball going.
Yeah, he's going to have to keep himself proactive, though. You took the kill as the jungler, which means that it's on you to try and get advantages elsewhere. You can't just leave your mid lane there like, okay, we got a kill mid, that's fine. Now deal with it yourself. He only got an assist, so you now need to be working on that yourself. We have got a bit of a pause, it would appear. My game is just wilding out a little bit. I'm a level with you.
Yeah, I mean, Hank Hankerson left the game and then they went for a pause, but we're not getting a pause screen yet, so...
I'm seeing Morgana kind of like high-five award. Is what I've got.
That's my screen. Oh yeah, okay.
Oh, we're back.
A second. What the hell happened there?
Don't worry, ladies and gentlemen. We're just, you know, it just be like that sometimes. But we are back and ready to get.
Okay.
I'm shook. It's just one of those things. But
yeah,
I mean, yeah, I don't know what point I was making before that happened.
Yeah, about Imbi getting a kill.
Oh yeah, good job, Imbi. You got a kill. Now you need to get another, or you need to get people ahead. But we do see Samus coming towards that top side. Perrin taking a free tower shot. Hank Hankerson is there as well. Awaken is going to have to be careful. The World Ender, he's asleep though, and he goes down. The big heal won't even be needed for Perrin. Very nice rotation up top by Glorious Gaming. What will Royal Reapers do in reply?
Yeah, So far, I am really liking what we're seeing from Glorious Gaming. We said that they needed to be the better team here, and so far they're achieving that not only in their mechanical prowess, but also in just rotating as a team. Hank Hankerson and Samus just rotated to top lane. There was no way that Awaken was going to see that one coming, as if you see the top side quadrant of the Royal Reapers' jungle, it's completely dark, so there was nothing that they could do to try and prevent this gank from happening, and it just results in a second kill for GG.
He's looking towards mid, but Hanks is putting a lot of damage down. There's the ultimate. The Ignite is running. Ukali might be going down. He will burn as Hank uses to get away, and now looks for some more damage onto Rek'Sai. Jumps forward onto the tower, gets the kill, but will be traded back. The blue buff dissolves with him. Double kill for Hank Hankerson, and you hate to see that if you're a Royal Reapers fan.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about Hank Hankerson. He's the guy that is going to be finding these big outplays. Yukalo does go in, but it was a bit too early for Imbi to be able to effectively help him, and so Hank Hankerson just found a glorious sleep, put Yukalo to his grave very early on, and Imbi did manage to trade that kill, but it wasn't going to be the best of options, given that you now have 2 kills sitting on the most important carry of Glorious Gaming's lineup.
Yeah, and he has died a couple of times, but he'll be alright with that with 3 kills under his belt. He's going to be dishing out so much damage in this mid lane. We already saw it there. He basically just annihilated Lucalu before Imbi got into place, and they're going to be very careful around this Zoe right now. But we also saw Awaken's flash being burnt as Samus came in for a speculative gank, but we might be seeing some play mid. Royal Reapers Francesco doesn't manage to land anything. He's going to be forced to back away. Imbi's there as well. They need to shut down this Zoe, and fast.
Trying to shut her down, but how quickly can they do that right now? She's sitting on the Lost Chapter as well as the Blasting Wand, which means that she just wants to be going for more mana, and as well as poke. Oftentimes what you can do to Zoe is go for a Sheen, but now Yukalo goes in.
Be the fight. Francesco, Imbi, and Ukali looking for Hanks, but here comes Whisper with the cat on the back, but the first blood has already gone down. Ukali will be moving to back away as Perrin gets a kill of his own in the top lane, assisted by Samus. That's 2 for 1 across the map for Glorious Gaming.
And right now, the situation is not looking too hot if you're a Royal Reapers fan, because you're giving all of these kills now not only to Hank Hankerson, but as well as Whisper. And if you get 2 carries on the enemy team fed enough... Okay, she's
not in the right position at all. Akali gets the ultimate onto Zai. The knockup will be there as well. That's a double kill over onto Zai of Royal Reapers, and Akali picking up the second. And it might not be looking too good for Royal Reapers in that play, but that play was great.
Yeah, that was a really, really good play from them, and a really huge overextension from Glorious Gaming's side. The interesting interaction there was that Rokusho got overextended and got caught out, but it didn't seem that she was going to, that Izumi was going to get blown up immediately. So Whisper tried to path towards him to allow this cat to jump on top of him, but alas, Yukalo was waiting in the flanks, and given that Whisper was way too far forward, after trying to let Rokusho escape, it just resulted in 2 kills now handed over to Royal Reapers.
And that is so important for them. They were hanging back a little bit. They were falling behind. And with this composition, you can't afford to do that. They're still about an 800 gold lead over on the side of Glorious Gaming at the 12-minute mark. But money is being picked up in the bot lane by Amena and by Francesco on these plates. So that's going to be big for them down there. And honestly, the bot lane from Royal Reapers has been looking pretty decent as of yet. And that's going to be important because Amena is such an important player for them. GG looking like they want to get down there and shut them down.
Yeah, right now Amena hasn't been able to pick up the Infinity Edge just yet. Now, Samus is there. Yumi goes in.
That's a very nice binding, but the root will still land onto Amena, who does have to flash away as the 2-man binding from Francesco will come forward. The ultimate, the ace in the hole, will be enough to force Perrin away, and the teleport there from Awaken just to bodyguard them out. But a couple of resources used by both sides, nothing actually gained.
A very unfortunate TP there from Awaken. I have to point it out because that wasn't really needed to try and ward Glorious Gaming off. However, now Rift Herald is being popped in that lane. Awaken has actually passed away from it. Yes. No, wait, he's still there.
A little bit scared. Francesco's there as well, though, so it'll be a 4v2 under tower with that Rift Herald. And no, they don't want to defend this one. They're just going to back away. They're giving up a lot of gold here over to Glorious Gaming, and they're still kind of sticking around. We do have Imbi coming in now as well. They're going to be able to hack down at the Rift Herald, which they've actually just left off as they go into fight onto Rammus, who is going to be using the ultimate. Look at Akalu on the side, looking for a target. The half of Rammus might be the man. He's rooted up, he's knocked up, and he is taken down. Awaken picking up that kill. They do manage to get one and the tower stays alive. Questionable initial play from Royal Reapers, but they really pick it up with the rotation.
Yeah, Glorious Gaming did not have that river warded, so they couldn't see the perfect rotation from Royal Reapers to try and shut them down, and it just resulted in Yukala being able to get off on a flank, and Samus was just, once again, way too far forward, and he paid with his dear life. Now, the side of Royal Reapers are barreling down this mid lane. I'm unsure if they're going to be able to try and contest this Hank Hankers and all that Zoe, because he should just be able to clear the farm out, and so things return to a little bit of a status quo. However, it's important that Glorious Gaming are just giving these leads away to Royal Reapers, because once again we have to remember... Okay!
That was an amazing route from Francesco. Yes. Take a Bowser. That was beautiful. The damage came through from Mena instantly. Perfection.
I was not expecting that. That was just a perfect dark binding for Royal Reapers to find themselves even one more kill. And if you look at the terms of gold, the state has been, what's it called? Evened out quite a lot. Now Samus is in the bot lane. Once again, dark binding hits.
So much damage coming in onto the Rammus. They're taking a little bit in return because he is a spiky turtle, but it won't actually matter. Awaken in the top side needs to be a bit careful. They are chasing forward. Imbi with that attack and with the smite to get the kill. That is almost disrespectful there from Rek'Sai, flashing forward and smiting down, but does manage to pick up the kill. And Royal Reapers, for the first time in a long time, they've got a gold lead.
And ladies and gentlemen, I have an interesting stat for you in the early game. Okay, that can be dangerous. Hank Hankerson does have the ignite.
Arlu. He's going to be able to get out of this one with the flash. I think it's pretty safe if he doesn't stick around. What's the interesting fact?
The interesting fact is that... My brain froze for a second. I'm so sorry.
The suspense is killing me.
No, the interesting fact is that Royal Reapers were able to find 4 plates for themselves, mostly off on that bot side alone. And on the other hand, it was GG picking up 12. So that's a really huge goal disparity. However, in the end, it was Royal Reapers who were able to find those turrets in the bot lane. So, you know, it's kind of works out for them. Kind of. I don't know.
A little bit. Glorious Gaming have all of the outers right now, though they managed to pick up the top lane tower for First Blood when there was that massive cross-map play attacks on all fronts, but that just means the Royal Reapers have more bricks to take down now, which means there is a bit of standing gold. Rammus might be in trouble. He does manage to get the knock up onto Imbi, and look at Perrin. He's chasing down onto a Mena. There's not many excuses for the Caitlyn to be there, and we'll go down instantly.
What the hell?
Puts down the pace, and now we're going to see the fight break out further. A couple of ultimates are going to be wasted there by Glorious Gaming, who look to chase on Francesco. Will miss the route this time, will be taunted and will go down. Going golden first, but it's not going to be enough to save his life, as Hank Hankerson is donated the kill. Kills are evened out, and this is looking good for Glorious Gaming as they look to barrel down the mid lane. Will there be another fight? I don't think there will. It's just going to be a tower taken.
Yeah, right now I'm really liking the mood of Glorious Gaming. They're just running about, they're just having fun, they're finding sleeps with Hank Hankerson, they're finding engages with Samus, and they're just steamrolling Royal Reapers right now. This team that was supposed to be having the losing lane, the team that was supposed to be trying to go for scaling and just try and survive, has just flipped the narrative completely. With 2k gold lead at 17 minutes, it should be reasonably easier for them to try and get themselves to this late game now, or even try and close this game out a bit earlier. Really unsure if they still beat the side of Royal Reapers in a full 5v5 fight, given that you have this MB who is very fed, but they're looking mighty strong.
They are looking mighty strong, as you said. I think they need to be careful about the 5v5 fights, because I still don't think that they're in the best position to win them, and I think it's a case of you don't want to be in that position as GG, because you're winning the game already. Your win condition is late game. You're in a perfect position to do that. We're still having to flash away from Imbi there. You just want to be continuing and keeping the status quo as it is. You don't want to be taking risky plays, because that could cause you to lose. And there is the stun ultimate from Ukalu as Whisper will fall. Imbi picking up that kill, 6th of the game with the spell shield on him. That might be the only kill though, but this tower, it's going to be threatened by Reapers.
A little bit of a cockiness there from Glorious Gaming. Royal Reapers came through with the perfect control ward in that river brush, so they didn't actually see the Morgana sitting in the flanks. And I have to applaud Francesco. Wait, that's a good sleep.
It's a great sleep and a good body block there from everyone. Carly might be the victim, though. Hank Henson picks up 1 kill. He knew he was deserving of at least that and might be chasing on for more. Francisco is trying to get out, but might not be quick enough. Imbi's on the side, the knock up from Awaken will stop Samus, and no one's here to sleep just yet. It's not bedtime, but it might be curtains as the world ender pops. Imbi has jumped in, and it's going to be Samus going down first. Hank Henson is going to have to run with Yubi on his back, but is shot down. Rakusho's got nowhere to go. Ding dong, goodbye, as a double kill is picked up by Aatrox.
And once again, Glorious Gaming overextend without supplementary vision to try and complement themselves, to know where everyone on Royal Reapers is. They were sitting in the fog of war, and then, well, smash meme everyone, everyone is here. They ran into those members, and they just got dismantled, giving away those kills, giving those kills to Awaken as well as Omena. And as you said it, they should not be going for these dangerous plays. They cannot afford to chase Royal Reapers, especially if they're not in their full form, because, well, that's what happens. You have a Hank Hankerson fed, sure, but he's a Zoe. If the enemy gets on top of him, he dies. Simple as.
Yeah, he hasn't got any way of getting out of it particularly. He's not the most mobile, but we are going to see a bit of a scrap over the walls. Awaken will get it, but now it's going to be a 1v1. Francesco looking to make it unfair. The ultimate coming out from Akali makes it even more so. And Perrin, I'm so sorry. This wasn't the respectable duel you wanted. It's the shutdown. Akali picking up that one. And we're going to see the turtle just roll his way out.
And once again, Glorious Gaming are just getting caught out in Royal Reapers' jungle, which is a very unfortunate state for themselves, because once again they were very far ahead, but if you care to look at the gold, it's looking to get a bit
engaged there. Whisper having to use the ultimate to get out of that one. He has still got feathers on the ground, but I don't think there's going to be a fight right here. Hank Henson puts a lot of damage down onto the land shark, who's going to just wander away looking a little bit dazed.
And the thing is, right now, all of the damage on Glorious Gaming is sitting on Hank Hankerson, who is an amazing player, and so far has been able to deliver all of the burst damage from GG, but as soon as he isn't there, that fight is effectively won by Royal Reapers. He has all of the kills, he has all of the gold, he's sitting on 2 items, but you cannot say the same for anyone else on GG, so every single skirmish is going to be decided upon by, is Hank there? Well, if he isn't, then you can try and say, alright, Royal Reapers are more likely to take it because, well, they have a fed Imbi, they have a fed Omena, and most importantly, they now have Awaken who can play League of Legends after getting shut down in that top lane.
Yeah, Mena, he's looking pretty good on this Caitlyn, it must be said. Awaken is much more back in this game, as you said, and Imbi has been looking good for the entirety of this one. So Royal Reapers are in a pretty decent spot. They've got that gold lead. It's only a small one, but they've managed to grab it back again, and this is the time of the game where they really need to shine because the clock is ticking. But at the moment, they're in a pretty fine position.
Right now, they're in a fine position. They're just allowing themselves to scale, get themselves a few more items. GG are going to be coming online as soon as this Whisper hits those 3 items with the Infinity Edge. They're going to be still very healthy in the late game, however, now they look like they managed to shut Royal Reapers down completely just by disallowing them to snowball with this snowbally composition. But, well, surprise, surprise, they reinitiated it. They reignited the flames, and now Royal Reapers are as dangerous as they would be normally before the game even started. So, a very unfortunate situation for Glorious Gaming, but they're still not out of it just yet. We have to remember Hank Hankerson and all the scaling that GG have as they now head towards the Cloud Drake.
Yeah, they're going to be able to pick up their second Drake of the game, giving them some ability to roam around as a bit of a squad, and people like Ramos really, really love to be a little bit quicker. They are now moving towards that Baron buff, just probably looking to get vision. Royal Reapers are dominating in that regard right now, and with all the tunnels, they're very, very mobile around the area. But it looks like GG actually is going to be moving up towards that mid lane, getting a bit of a push on. They need to keep things ticking over, because right now, Royal Reapers, if they get a teamfight win, they get a Baron, and in that case, you're not looking too happy if you're a Glorious Gaming boy.
Yeah, it's still just 22 minutes, so we're still waiting for the items to be hitting on GG. Right now, I do not think they actually win a full 5v5 teamfight, but it looks like they are just going to be starting the Baron pit for a second. The ward does go down from Royal Reapers, which does manage to spot them, and so GG just move away, back away, not trying to threaten any fight. I say that, well, they're not.
No fight
there.
Very
fast. Wow, that was That was a very fast retreat from the Rammus, I have to say.
He's pretty quick and he's pretty tanky. He's not the kind of catch that you need, even though he's the jungler. You're not going to be able to quickly take him down with 1 or 2 characters. You need 4 or 5 really to melt through the Rammus.
However, luckily for Royal Reapers, it's not just Rammus that keeps getting caught out. One of the more important members has been Hank, in a sense. Of course, whenever you manage to lock him down and kill him, he will be giving you this bounty, which has been already taken. So right now, that isn't the biggest threat, but if the state of game keeps on going like this, he's going to be accumulating all of the extra gold, which can be picked up by the side of Royal Reapers. But for now, it's just the Baron Vision Dance, and the beautiful thing about having a Zoe on your team is that every single time that the enemy team does not have perfect vision of an area, you can threaten them. You can threaten them with the Sleepy Trouble Bubbles and the furthermore with the damage that you get from the Paddle Stars. So right now, ideally, GG still should be able to just poke Royal Reapers down, which is exactly what they're trying to do, but once again, they cannot be going for a pure 5v5 fight because that is almost akin to a suicide. Almost, I think.
It's difficult, certainly, for GG to win these 5v5s. Parent is doing very, very well in the side lanes, creating pressure, though. Awaken is always being kept away. They both have teleport, so we're going to have to see if the two of them can make a big, impactful play in a team fight. But right now, we've had a slow few minutes as these two teams are just looking for a little bit of pressure in the side lanes with the Fiora, with the Aatrox, and the rest of the teams are kind of just dancing around each other because GG don't want the big fight, and Royal Reapers haven't been able to pull the trigger and get a good one. Imbi, though, might have caught out Harun, will not get the knockup just yet. And now, Harun, he's going to maybe win this 1v1 as the Imbi jump in. The damage is going to be riposted as Aatrox does move in with the World Ender movement speed, and that is going to be curtains for Fiora. But the ultimate from Aatrox was crucially used when it didn't necessarily need to be, if Awaken had just been a little bit quicker.
Yeah, a couple of misplays there in that fight, or well, should I say a skirmish. Imbi didn't need to get out of the ground that early on, but now Rammus is barreling in, does get rooted. Yumi is there to help him though.
That's an important route. Dukali has ulted himself in the middle of the fight as Samus has managed to get into the fight, but will be going down. The Powerball might be enough to take on Francisco, it won't be. Amena picking up the kill, and the flash from Dukali will spell the end. A whisper as he goes golden, but will go down instantly. Hank Engson with the perfectly timed damage. Double kill there with Awakening going down as well. And now Amena has to be very, very careful.
Hank
goes down for a triple kill. Hank Engson is running right at the cat on his back. Francisco down for a quadra. Can this be it? Hank Engson is going to be chasing on. Imbi's the only member left from Royal Reapers, but Hank Engson is quick, does get knocked up, but will he be able to get it? That is it! Pentakill onto Hank Henderson! The Zoe is running riot!
You know what, okay Hank, but that was a bit over the top. Jesus Christ, there was no way that GG should have had that fight, but Hank Hankerson just turns it around. He is so fat and his mechanics are so clean. Invite him for a Kleenex commercial, cause Jesus Christ, he just wiped the floor with Royal Reapers. Baron is going.
Yeah, it's going to go down. I don't think there's much more that you can say about this one, but Hank Henderson just put some absolute clinic on this Zoe in that team fight. There was nothing that Royal Reapers could do. They were just each falling to this massive amount of damage. Amena was looking decent. His positioning was fine, but he gets hit by one Q and dies. Like, that's the power of this pickup, and GG, they've got the Baron now, and they're in such a commanding position.
Such a commanding position, once again, all on the back of Hank Hankerson, the strongest member of GG right now. And well, once again, this is the scaling team, and soon we're going to be seeing Whisper start pop off as well. He's right now sitting on 2 items, looking to build himself a second, Zeal item. I think that will be the Static Ship or the Phantom Dancer if he's scared of the burst that the side of Royal Reapers are going to be delivering on top of him. But this Xayah is going to start coming online, and when we talk about the Xayah coming online, we have to remember that GG have a good front line. They have this Fiora trying to threaten the backline, and she's not going to die anytime soon as long as she manages to pop off that ultimate. And well, you have Rammus. That's a Rammus. You're not getting through him. So if it comes to 5v5 fights, as soon as the Xayah gets her items, it should be incredibly difficult for Royal Reapers to try and melt through the front line, to even try and access Hank Hankerson as well as Whisper.
It's just going to be a case right now for GG. They just need to get these Baron minions knocking on the doors of the base from Rory, because Imbi's looking to catch out Heron. The Awaken is there as well. Nice flash from Heron to avoid the knock of Awaken. Is looking to end the world. Heron jumps back in, trying to get the heal, trying to get the mark, so it won't be enough. Awaken picking up that one, but GG have had time in the mid lane. If Carlo has been taunted, meaning he can't use ability. As we do see Ram is going cowboy, but he is stuck in place. He will fall 1 for 1, 2 for nothing. In fact, for Roar Reapers across the map, who Carlo and Awaken move down towards the bot side. But that's 2 Barons gone, and the split push, it's just going to be so much weaker for GG now.
Yeah, a little bit of a lack of communication there from Glorious Gaming. They didn't even have the top lane wave pushing, so there was no reason why Samus was supposed to be at that inhibitor trying to knock him down. As soon as Perun went down, it was over for him, because this lineup of Royal Reapers was able to just rotate by and, well, kill this hedgehog like... Or no, he's an armadillo, sorry.
But he's not an armadillo, though, is he? Like, look at him.
Is he not?
He's a turtle. No, like, they say he's an armadillo, but he's a turtle.
He's like Knuckles from Sonic the Hedgehog if he had, like, a really tough shell.
Yeah,
that's what Rammus is.
But Knuckles is an echidna.
Yeah,
so,
he is an echidna.
Yeah, I don't know what the...
Is Rammus an echidna?
Well, no, because in the lore he's an armadillo, but he doesn't look anything like one.
I mean, I would say he's a hedgehog, right? But, you know, that's just...
I'm saying spiky turtle.
Yeah, okay. See, these are the important questions that most casters don't have, yeah.
In a big match at the 30-minute mark, these are the important questions. That just needs to be asked sometimes, you know?
Alright, so... League of Legends, Samus is fast, Imbi is faster. Tunnels away, baby. Okay.
Samus just rolled in and was like, oh, nope, don't want this one, and just turns around and just runs away at the speed of sound.
Yeah, Imbi is still very fed. He has a lot of damage with his Black Cleaver. I am a bit ashamed that he isn't going for the full Chad build of Lethality Rek'Sai. But, you know, with his Guardian Angel, he's going to be able to turn himself into that CC bot, just because he's always going to be able to deliver that knockup, as well as some subsequent damage. However, who I want to focus on in Royal Reapers right now is actually Omena. He has hit that in did those 3 items as well as a QSS, so even if he gets some CC delivered on top of him, most notably the Zoe bubble, he's going to be able to cleanse himself away from it, and he's going to be the most important member in every single team fight for Royal Reapers, because you're not going to be finding that damage anywhere else. Sure, this Lissandra is building AP, but still, it's not going to be enough, and you're going to be relying on this Caitlyn to do most of the heavy lifting and all of these skirmishes that Royal Reapers ideally want to fight.
And I think the Glorious Gaming do still have trouble if the Zoe does get deleted by someone like a Mena, or if a Carly can get onto her. Like, once she's gone, that is basically all of your damage. That's basically all of your players who have been dominating their positions this game gone, because people like Francesco, they've been looking very, very solid this game. And Mena, other than getting caught out in a couple of team fights, has looked good. Imbi and Awaken haven't looked bad. So it's just Hank Hegson needs to be running the show, and we saw it in the last big team fight. He's gonna have to keep doing it though, because right now for Hank, he needs to be winning. He needs to be playing well at all times, and he only needs to be caught out once for there to be massive problems for Glorious Gaming.
Yeah, and we've already seen that the lineup of Glorious Gaming is susceptible to getting caught in the enemy jungle without having the necessary vision there. So, can be the big talking point when it comes to watching Glorious Gaming, especially when you see Samus just rolling around at the speed of sound. Now, looks like Royal Reapers might be trying to set something up in this mid lane. Once again, there is no vision on Imbi right now, so Whisper has to be very, very careful. Hank Hackerson disconnects from the game. That's something that we expect. He reconnects back, ladies and gentlemen. No need to worry. Thank you, Riot Games.
One thing I want to say though is, can we get a Rammus skin, which is like Sonic, but like the movie trailer Sonic? So it's like super terrifying.
You see, my mother told me once that I should learn when to keep my mouth shut, and I think that is a skill that you should try and hone sometimes as well, Viper.
I just want it. I would buy that skin.
No.
It could be a legendary skin. Like, imagine like a blue Rammus who just like is just sprinted around the place, being very poorly animated and like having weird teeth. Like, I would pay good money for that skin.
And then we can turn Zillion into Dr. Robotnik, right? We're gonna turn League of Legends into the Sonic movie. Regardless, Awaken gets burned out.
Awaken's dead.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what happens when you're watching this Hank Hankerson on this Zoe. He's incredibly fed. Someone put it out in the Twitch chat. Zoe is a fun champion. She definitely is. She just bursts through Aatrox. Nothing he can do.
There's nothing. He wasn't even particularly out of position. He just got caught out. Now we're going to see the sleep falling onto a Mena. He's going to be careful, but there's the spell shield as a Mena looking to get some damage down. Samus has gone in, but will be taking a lot of damage.
Oh my god.
Go down. The tower shot will be enough, but a Mena's already fallen. Nucalo has to ult himself. We've got a GA being popped. Francesco does manage to get the kill onto Ramos, but he's absolutely fine on the sidelines. And GG, they've just won this team fight in the base of Royal Reapers, and that's got to be curtains for this game. At the 33-minute mark, they're knocking on the doors. There's no one left to defend. Francesco's caught up in his base. He's not going to be able to go anywhere. The second tower will go down. Hank Hankerson looking for the pop. Will not be able to get it, but Francesco's down. Ace game, glorious gaming.
See, if you look at the standings, you should not be expecting this to happen. And first of all, the Royal Reapers led the Zoe through for Hank Hankerson. I think that has to be the big talking point when we try and analyze what went wrong for RR this game. But the second one is we kind of have to remind the viewers that Omena was actually off-rolling and he wasn't playing for the mid lane. Perhaps that situation could have been flipped around on its head if there was the main mid laner for the side of Royal Reapers. Of course, they tried to go along with their plan of trying to shut this Zoe down early on with the Lysandra ultimate as well as Imbi following up, but that didn't matter because Hank Hankerson always managed to try and at least outplay them at least once. And as soon as you lock Awaken down and just make sure that he doesn't get to play League of Legends as Aatrox, he's always going to be utterly screwed. There was no side lane pressure for Royal Reapers because Awaken could not threaten Perun, and it just allowed Glorious Gaming to be freely roaming the map, getting caught out like 3 times in the enemy jungle with more than 3 people, but it still wasn't enough just because Hank Hankerson was that fed.
It was just disgusting. We're going to have to see if Royal Reapers can bounce back in their second game of the night, because make sure you don't go anywhere, because they're going to be going up against top of the table. Woo. Actually, CBA in our next match. So make sure you don't go anywhere. Actually, do you know what? You can go to the toilet, get yourself a couple of snacks, maybe a drink of your preference, but make sure you don't go too far, because we're going to be back very, very soon